Okay, all right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Football Commenters. It's me, Simon, and my co-host Darius. Oh my gosh, he's wearing a Man United jersey. Is this a homage to David De Gea leaving United?
So there are many controversial thoughts about that, but my standpoint is he is a United legend.
Yes, he is.
Is as much of the mistakes he has made.
Yeah.
It's just because we are a great club.
Yeah,
But the 12 amazing years that he has done for us
yes,
cannot be discounted.
yeah.
He's been
Correct.
player of the year so many times, player of the year. He's just done so much for the club that yes, it's so much to him, and I really think that I will miss him.
Yeah.
One, as much as like I wish he could have stayed, but I know that
Yeah,
internally that Eric Ten Hag's new system
Yep.
doesn't really benefit him,
Yep.
and the club is looking in a new direction. But overall, for David De Gea, he's a legend. In fact, I feel he's one of the three great
correct.
goalkeepers that we have,
Yeah.
alongside not Casper Michael.
No, Piers
Michael and
Van der Sar.
Van der Sar.
Yeah. Shout out to David De Gea. You have been an absolute legend in this club and the last member of our title-winning side in Ferguson last season. You have seen him grow from that young, scrawny, injury-prone keeper to something that is so like a world-class goalkeeper that we see today. Yes, he's not a very ball-playing goalkeeper, but he's still very, very good. So just a shout out to him. But we'll talk about English football later on. I know everybody loves EPL, but what's our subject for today, Darius?
Our subject for today is the very controversial Singapore Football Association.
Oh dear.
Facebook, well, not really Facebook, but they released a
Yeah.
kind of post
Yeah.
which talks about in regards to the SEA Games
Oh dear.
last year.
Yeah. All right. Now, before we start on that, just a disclaimer that these are just our opinions and our opinions only. All right. What we say here is just what we think. All right, as Singapore football fans, what needs to be done, and if people take offense from this, so sorry about that. All right, especially those people who are watching or those from FAS himself. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's roll.
So the initial thoughts of when they first posted it
Yeah.
about 1 week ago
Yeah.
was of course the immediate backlash, because
Yeah.
as controversial it is, you should never release a statement
Mhm.
about false news. So how I depicted it was when they released the statement, they were actually kind of worried that some news article online or
Yeah.
somebody saying that they have statistics to the reason why the SEA Games failed in Singapore's
Yeah.
kind of view was false.
Yeah.
But as the Football Association in Singapore, how or why is a tiny media from anywhere?
Oh, you mean TMSG?
Is it TMSG? Or
I think they released the thing before.
any case, FAS did not.
whatever, yeah.
Any case, FAS did not specifically say
Yeah.
where this news came from. So I would not know either.
Correct.
But they urged the public to not believe or until further investigations
Yes,
are done.
yes.
But why are you worried about a news article claiming that they have the reason why it failed? It doesn't make sense for you to publicly announce it to everybody,
Yeah.
to bring it to light. Because if, let's say that news article came out, everybody could just normally discuss about it,
Yeah.
but nobody is gonna really... No, some people have their thoughts. They'll be like, oh, I totally agree that this is the
Yeah.
reason that
Yeah.
this statistics was the reason why
Correct.
we fail, both be
Yeah.
ingestion of money or
Yeah,
lack
yeah.
of money or whatever.
Yeah.
But the other part of it was FAS releasing a statement regarding this,
Correct.
when for myself or maybe for yourself also,
Yeah.
we were just clueless. The SEA Games failed. We did poorly. We didn't live up to expectations. That cannot be like undermined lah. We performed terribly.
Correct.
But it's been a couple of months now. It's been a few months. And suddenly a statement just comes in, flying in, just saying, oh, don't believe everything you see online.
Let's be honest here, right? All of this could be avoided if FAS has done their job. Not even now, but a few years back, because Singapore football has been in a very terrible state, right? And the SEA Games shows how backward we are when it comes to under 23 football. Right, the statement released by FAS, in my opinion, is a terrible statement because what was revealed after that, many people already saw it coming. We all knew that what FAS is going to say is just going to be the softened version of what we really want from the answer itself, which is what in the world is going on? Why are we performing so badly? Yep. Right. And to release a statement to say that don't believe what you see, and then after the news outlet releasing what is going to happen behind the scenes,
yep,
it just goes to show that you are trying to hide behind the review that you're posting, by telling people don't believe what is this, right? But here's the thing: Singapore football fans are not dumb. We all know what's going on.
Yep.
Right. And by them releasing that, whether we believe it or not is up to us. But it just shows that FAS, wants to hide behind the laurels of themselves and think that they can get away with it. But here's the thing: you guys are doing a terrible job. If there is a problem internally, everybody should know. Here in football fans, we want to know what is the problem in this Singapore football, because taxpayers' money are being spent on it. Right. The results are not there. So if people are not going to take responsibility for it, right, and just say, and yet you can just post a post and say that, don't believe what you see online. Then who's going to take responsibility for it?
So let me read off the article, right? Which is, it says here, a website has said that it will release a story on what it says constitutes to the SEA Games 2023 review, which we know is going to be bad or will have a severe backlash. So it says it may base its story on selective reports, which may have been leaked in full or verbally. This leak affects the integrity of the process of fact-finding and goes against the obligation of all involved to keep the information within for use of the FAS only.
Yeah.
Currently, these reports are still being processed or being fact-checked and carry subjective opinions.
Correct.
This is no way constitutes an accurate report. To be clear, the conclusions from the report, which will be released publicly, will draw from a much broader range of sources, including objective data from the games. So they proceeded to say that the story seeks to frame some observations in the reports as final and perhaps to seek and assign blame to specific individuals. And they're basically saying that please be patient and to wait for the final fact check to be finalized. So, update, they've never released another statement since.
Yep.
They've never updated anybody.
Only 10 recommendations.
Only 10 recommendations, which I think you can talk about it in a bit. Yeah. But initially when I saw this, I'm just looking at it like, why are you scared of this false news? Why are you telling people that this is false? And we will fact check it again, because it doesn't make sense for you to specifically know that it's gonna leak, right? This information of like the objective data from the games, everything, like this thing is gonna leak.
Yep.
So instead of trying to hey, no, I have this data instead that I know is for sure real. No, I'm just gonna urge the public to not believe that this is false and not release anything since.
You see, the thing is, they do not want people to know what's the inner workings of FAS, what's going on. They want to just release it as, okay, these are the improvements what you can take. If you watch the podcast that is done on Channel News Asia regarding Bernard Tan, he already mentioned that the reason they do the review internally and not externally is because they some of the people in FAS will not receive that that recommendations kindly from other outside people. And secondly, they wanted to protect the integrity or the no blame culture that they have here. So that's why they released this by saying that, we need to fact check. But in the actual case is they are using this as a way to hide or rather cover up for their faults, right, of the people, and not taking them into proper accounts.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
and
also
you look at the report, they released the 10 recommendations. That's not what we are looking out for. We are looking out for what in the world is going on, who are the people behind it, right? Why did this thing happen, right? In a more detail, and what is Bernard Tan going to do about it? Or Michael Brown, or Philip Au.
Yeah. So I agree with you in that standpoint where I feel that they're not doing enough.
Yes.
For football in Singapore in the whole. And of course, I have some comments from the post as well.
Yeah.
Saying like, oh, they're still waiting for the report to be released and answers to all the stakeholders of this debacle. Also felt PR lab.
Yeah.
So this is a big point for me, which is how do you answer to stakeholders?
Well, the problem is, right? I think the stakeholders are also like, they are not really involved with it. Because you got to understand that they do it on a voluntary basis, right? Voluntary, they're not paid for it. So the pressure there is not really very high. But the thing is this, right? Are they even really wanting to do it for the greater good of Singapore football? Are they just wanting to do it like, oh yes, this is what we have. We can't do too much about it.
So my standpoint is the stakeholders definitely have a stake in this, meaning they definitely has put money into it.
Yes.
It may not be a lot, but in my opinion, is like you said, they're not in control of anything, so they don't really have a final say. They just practically putting money, hearing what they say.
Correct.
So coming back to it, so they've put so much money, and it's obviously terribly gone down the drain.
Yeah.
And also now there's a completely PR blunder by releasing this statement. And following with this statement, there's no follow-up statement, even though they've constantly said that they're going to follow up. It's been a week. Yeah. So there's no follow-up. There've just been lots of 01, 05 of the under 19 women's, which is ongoing at the moment. It's not looking good, but like, it's something like
this is a top-down approach. If you really want to solve this problem, you have to start from the management and the exco, right, and then work your way down. If your top management doesn't even care, how does your bottom people even work? It has become such an issue right now that they actually had a parliamentary debate about where is our funds for football going? How can we support better, and what are the infrastructures and so on? Because if the government does come in, right, these people are in trouble. Because right now they're running this on a voluntary basis on their own, and to be honest, they're doing a terrible job. Okay, let's be honest here. You take a look at Thailand, right? The FA did a terrible job. The top guy resigned. In Singapore, the top guy did a terrible job, and he still gets to keep his job. Right, he can say that he will only leave. He will only resign once he feels that he lost the support. But here's the question: you have already lost the support of everyone. The whole Singapore fraternity doesn't like you. Okay, you have done a terrible job. So why are you not stepping down?
Yeah. So coming back to this post is basically them saying that they are not being transparent with us fans. They are not being transparent with stakeholders. They're actually not being transparent with anyone because nobody knows what's going on.
Correct.
And come back to the post, which is nobody knows what the actual stats are.
Yeah.
So of course somebody's gonna believe something that somebody's gonna say online.
Yes.
And the fact that you are scared that this post is gonna be released or has been released, says a lot about you. It's like you're not being transparent, and then someone else says. Correct. You are now so terribly scared that it's real, even though you continue to have no choice but to falsify it.
Yeah. And all of this leads to the 10 recommendations that they came up with, which I feel, in my opinion, right, it's too late. This stuff should have been done at least 6 to 7 years ago. Why are you talking about the bare basics of a football under 23 tournament, the team and so on, right now in 2023? We have come at a point in time that football has progressed so fast that you are living in the type of football that is, or rather the way you guys manage your team and so on, about 10 years ago. Because things like, for example, simple things as nutrition, right? a 2-week preparation for our tournaments, mental preparation, diets, right? Even focusing on priority of the SEA Games or under 23 players getting game time. These are all things that should have been done 5 or 6 years ago, right? You are, like the government is saying on the Unleash 2034. Right, we want to go for the World Cup, and yet you are looking at a bunch of players getting their butt kicked in the SEA Games, and your 10 recommendations are things that someone from a 10-year-old could have written it out 5 to 10 years ago that should have been done a long time ago. So then the question is, why even have a review in the first place? If you come up with this 10 recommendations, right, are you just doing the review to appease people, or are you just doing it for the sake of doing it? I think that's something that should be asked. What is the point of this review when all you came out is just this 10 recommendations and so on?
Yeah. So that 10 recommendations came out about a day ago from this recording. The next news that came out was actually, I think you were regarding Bernard Tan, which is the news states here, which FAS acting president Bernard Tan says he will step down if he has lost the support.
Yeah. Which I mentioned earlier, the whole football fraternity doesn't like him.
I don't know how he's gonna lose support if he never had support to begin with.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's not working. It's definitely not working. And 10 recommendations or whatever, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, it's just something. It has to be transparent first. Like, you must have.
Yeah.
Don't give me 10 recommendations. Give me a 10-year plan of what the heck you're gonna do.
You see, take a look at this, right? You know the 10 recommendations, one of the things was going to the locations 2 weeks early to acclimatize and so on. Let's look at it in contrast to a sport that did really well in Singapore recently, right? We're looking at Singapore Ultimate Frisbee team. Right, they have made the finals of the World Championship. Now, this is, although we are talking about football, but we need to talk about this to see how a proper run association can do wonders here in Singapore. Don't come and tell me about football, about people, and so on. Okay, Singapore football is the most popular sport here in Singapore. Yet we are playing terribly. A game like Ultimate Frisbee can get to a World Championship finals. Right. What did? They went early in advance to prepare to play a few games to get used to the weather and the intensity. Right. They were well funded. They went in early. They played well. They played to their strengths, and they got to the finals to play and on the under 24 level against the USA. If a country can play a game that is created in the US called Ultimate Frisbee in Southeast Asia with very little players to choose from, all playing at a varsity level and getting to a World Championship, what excuse does FAS have to say that football, the most popular sport in Singapore, played by a variety of different places with infrastructure, have funding, can't do as well as this? You know, when we talk about Singapore efficiency, this is Singapore efficiency for you over here, right? A country where so small, with limited resources, punching above our weight. And yet when we're given all the resources, you have inept people right on top, not even doing their job. That is so shocking, especially for a sport that is the most popular sport here, that has brought us the Kallang Roar, the Malaysian Cup days, the glory days of the past, and now we are lingering in 158 in the world ranking here in FIFA. We can't even beat our neighbours Malaysia. Right, let alone trying to win, and that's the problem. If you have good management systems who knows how to run this from the top level down, you would have known everything of how it's done here in Singapore. That's the problem. If the top management are not taking responsibility, they are pushing all the blame to the coaches and to the players. But the problem is the backroom stuff. Why are you guys arguing over what needs to be done? Why is the coach not taking more responsibility for it? Why is FAS or Bernard Tan or Michael Brown making the decisions and not the coach itself?
I think Philip's also the coach, right?
No, now it's the other guy.
Okay. But for SEA Games, he was the coach. I think Philip Au should have. I mean, it feels a bit like he was silenced a lot of time. Like, if you just search Philip Au, right, it's just like, go Google images, right, it's just like 10 images of him shaking his head.
It's true.
So it's a bit like, for the SEA Games at least, I think that Philip Au, he used to manage Home United as well, actually.
Yes.
So like about 10 years ago. So like, as a fan, like, I kind of feel sorry for him, because I don't think he deserves to be put in this position, because it very feels like it's not his tactical decision.
Correct.
It doesn't feel like he has enough resources to go and really cultivate these group of players to actually play on the SEA Games. Both lack of time, both lack of a lot of things in general. And SEA Games is a good kind of, at least this SEA Games, it's a good kind of showcasing to show where we are at in the world right now, which is just not good enough, both in friendlies, not good enough in the international stage, not even good enough in the cross-border stage. So like, it's you can't say the coach. Yeah, the coach tactics are one thing, which if you actually watch the highlights, everything, and of course the matches, right, they're not bad tactics. It suits the group of players. The problem when it suits the group of players is this tactic that suits the group of players can perform, but the tactic just doesn't win against the opponents.
And another thing that really concerns me is the coach, the manager that is taking charge of under 23s. Do you realize something interesting about this group of young players? The people who are managing them is always these two guys, Philip Au or Nazir Nazari. Where are all the other coaches? Why do you always rely on these two people? On my opinion, these two people should not be even coaching these young groups anymore. We need new coaches, new ideas, new philosophies, because for over the past few years, we have always been seeing Nazir Nazar, sorry if I say wrongly, and Philip Au. Where are all our other coaches? Are they not existent, or are we not training up new coaches that they can take over the young lions? Because if this two is not working, we cannot stick with them. We need something new.
I think the big part could be also the coaches do not want to take up this role. You need to bring it into that point. I'm not trying to defend the FAS, but there are points where we look at maybe only these two people want to take up, and they are just rotating between the two of them. But if, let's say, like for me and you, okay, I get an offer from FAS, it's a good deal, I'll take it for sure. But maybe for other coaches, FAS is not giving them high enough. Maybe they're giving Nazru or Philip just enough that they'll take it.
Or could it be the bureaucracy that's stopping other coaches from taking up this
could also be, but I would say this part of why there aren't any more coaches could be a big part of they do not want to take up this role, because like, I just feel that they why handle so much backlash? Let's say a new coach comes in, he has a new philosophy. I think one, he may not even be able to implement his philosophy, because this group of players he only sees for what, a few months for one SEA Games or like a international tournament, and he's not able to put any philosophy. That's one. Two, even if he does come in and take over, if he does terribly, his career is just gone.
Well, but here's the thing: the two people who have been doing terribly for the past few years, they are still coaching. So, if we don't change the coaches, we are going to be stuck with this.
It's a situation of them not wanting to step out of their comfort zone, I feel, which is a bit tough to say because FAS, right? This is more the thought thinking process, because we got no facts about this, but it's more of if Philip and Nazru are the only ones that we have, and no one else wants to take this deal, how we can cultivate a new coach, but if he performs badly, the backlash is still gonna be there anyways.
That's true, right? But on your point, what about you? What do you think needs to be done moving forward, especially with this review that came out on the under 23 side?
I think start with transparency. It has to be tell us what failed. Have five or six guys sit down at a table. Maybe not on a podcast. Probably at a podcast.
I think a podcast will work, right? If Bernard Tan, we're inviting you, right? We want to really ask you these questions and find out what in the world is going on behind FAS. Right?
Yeah, we should sit down and have a maybe not 10 recommendations. Nobody needs recommendations. Nobody needs ads recommendations. Like
no one watches recommendations, by the way.
Yeah, people can recommend you something, right? But doesn't mean that you will necessarily take the recommendation, right? So what you need is you need a definitive plan. You need a definitive plan for about 5-10 years. Look close, just 5 years. What are you going to do for 5 years? How are you going to cultivate players? How much money is going to be put in? Who is going to be involved going forward?
Yeah.
Have this 5-year plan. And if you tick all the boxes and we still don't make it, never mind. Try again. Do the next 5 years. But at the minimally, you need to be transparent with us into saying what do you have going forward. Because everyone's sitting down questioning your moves right now. Nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. You're not telling us what's going on behind the scenes. You're just releasing statements that if I don't have support, I will step down. Then if you're not releasing anything, then you're not having my support. That's one.
Yeah, that's true. And I agree on your point. They need to look in the 5 to 6 years term, especially with the next SEA Games coming up, which is why they release a statement looking at pinning their hopes on younger players like Nathan Mao and so on in the 2027, 2029 SEA Games, that they perform well. But the question is, if you want to reach that stage or time, you got to start working now. You got to learn from the mistakes that you made, implement what needs to be implemented. Right. Don't be transparent. Don't hide behind and be aggressive to people when we are trying to tell you, hey, there is something really wrong. Do something about it. Right. While everybody in Southeast Asia is improving, you are just resting on your laurels and not improving on this national team.
Yep.
If we don't do anything right now, 5 years down the road, we are still going to be the same.
Yeah.
No matter how good the player come through, it's still going to be the same, right? Unless FAS does something or the government steps in or they sack the top management people and replace them with people who really know about football and not people who just comes in to fulfill the role, right? And just implement things that fits the bill, but just fits the bill. That's it.
I mean, it has to be someone who is knowledgeable in one football, who's really a football person.
Yes.
But the person is also someone who is somebody who can manage the whole diverse company of the Football Association of Singapore.
Correct.
Like somebody who is practically a CEO lah. You need someone who is a CEO, who is a football guy. For some reason, I'm thinking of Chun Liang, but someone like that. No, really, someone like that.
Okay.
Someone like Mr. Chiu, who's a football guy who genuinely loves football and genuinely loves the whole structure of running a football association or football club.
Indeed. For those who do not know who Mr. Chu, he is the former CEO of Lion City Sailors. Right, he's a great football fan, football mind. He thinks very, very, very widely and very knowledgeable on Singapore football. The only problem we have with him is he's a Liverpool supporter. Right, so sorry about that. But we are Man United fans, so that's why you're not here today. But shout out to Shun Liang. We are big fans of you. We love you a lot.
Love to have you here also.
Yeah. I love to have you here, but not in a Liverpool jersey. Okay.
He'll wear it.
Now, another person that I would recommend that can take over the job that is done by Bernard Tan is this gentleman called Mr. Eric Tan. If you do not know about him, he was the guy who took over the Thai league and then revamped it and then make it even better. I had a few chats with him. His ideas for football and what he plans to do are really, really good. He is a football mind. He's very into football. And I think that he is one of those persons who can lead the charge for the next football wave. He's part of the Unleash the Raw, but I would recommend that if he can take over FAS, he should be the person running it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably enough about the Football Association of Singapore. I think we've rumbled on a bit long.
Yeah.
Let's end this whole video with a bit more on the EPL. So we know David De Gea is leaving, like I was talking. So I always think back to his great Arsenal game. Were you watching that game?
Which one?
The one where he made the most saves, I think 17.
Oh
The
yes,
3-1 against Arsenal. Yeah. So to me, that's always the highlight. Like watching that game.
Yeah.
Like I was just every time he saved, I was just taken aback.
Correct.
So really shout out to Big Dave. I think that
Correct.
I'm gonna definitely miss him.
Yeah. I will always remember the free kick saved in the top corner. The one against Chelsea.
Philippe Coutinho.
Yes,
I remember that one. 2018.
Yes. Was it Chelsea or Liverpool?
It was Liverpool.
Yes, I think there's one for Chelsea also, right?
Hazard's one, I think.
Right in the corner, and he stretched it and he saved it. Man, that I'll always remember that one.
Yeah,
that was one of my great memories of David De Gea. But since it's moving on, we have signed Mason Mount, right? Looks like Onana is coming through.
So
right?
here's the issue. So Andre Onana's contract, or at least the in talks right now, it's not confirmed.
Yeah.
It hasn't been confirmed. There are a few other options. There's actually a goalkeeper playing for the
Zion Suzuki, right?
I think so, but he plays for the Urawa Red Diamonds.
Yeah, Zion Suzuki. He's a young
so he will also think about him, but I think he's better as a backup goalkeeper.
Correct.
Right now, I know it's not going to come true.
Correct.
But I always look at the players that, at least for Manchester United, I always look at the players who I feel always have so much potential, but always at the end, they just decide to throw them away. Big players such as Andres Pereira, I always think that he has quality. He just needed a very good coach.
Jesse Lingard
Showed in the FA Cup, so I won't actually talk about. I think he did well. He just towards the end, maybe he didn't really perform at the end. But I'm thinking Dean Henderson.
Oh yes.
I'm thinking Dean Henderson. I have him in my FIFA all the time.
Yeah.
Not as a backup keeper, but as a number one. I think that he needs this opportunity, and I need Erik ten Hag to really talk to him and really get him to believe in him, because I know Solskjaer let a lot of promises go.
Correct.
Where it was like, of course, he did he had to be sit out for COVID as well for that point, and David De Gea stepped in again, which is fine. But now with David leaving, Dean Henderson has always been his kind of protege. He's always been like there, like so close yet so far. And I feel that this is his chance now. He cannot let this slip to play for Nottingham. I think that he's a Manchester player. He suits Erik ten Hag's style. And he's been in the youth system since 13.
Yeah.
So he knows the ins and outs of being a Manchester United player.
Yeah.
I really believe that Ten Hag needs to keep him as a number one. At least try him out for one season. Give him the number one. Give him one season. And I know Dean Henderson, who has performed so well for Forest, for all the teams that he went out on loan for, that he will actually perform for Manchester United if he's given that chance.
I truly agree with that. He's a true blue Manchester person, and he should be at least given the opportunity to start.
Yep.
Right. To play, because I think he earned the right, especially with Nottingham Forest, with Sheffield United. You could see what he was doing. So let's give him a chance at United. But speaking of United, with our transfers, and looking at what's happening in the EPL right now and in Europe, I kind of fear for our club, because looking at the transfers that Arsenal made, like Kai Havertz, right?
Julian Timber is coming.
Julian Timbers, right? They recently made a bid for Declan Rice. Right. These are all scary moves that they're making. And then you look at Man City with Mateo Kovacic, right? And then with their new Chelsea with their new manager and so on. And yet Manchester United has only signed Mason Mount.
I think,
how are we going to compete with many of these teams moving forward next season? It's going to be a tough season next season.
Yeah, I think it's really, we are still feeling the effects of Ed Woodward's reign, where he used to actually give players just contracts so that he could potentially sell them off for something later on.
Yeah.
Problem with that is players such as like Eric Bailly, players such as Fred, they still have contracts here, but to offload them, to sell them in the market, who is going to want to buy them for such high prices?
True. And I think another reason why we are struggling to sign also is because we are still waiting for the confirmation on the buyover from Qatar, right?
Or Sir Jim Ratcliffe, which his deal is still on the table.
Yes,
Yep.
right. So there are no news on that. So as a United fan, I'm kind of worried because when you're looking at your rivals making moves like McAllister to Liverpool, like a Kovacic to Man City, and Kai Havertz to Arsenal,
And everyone to the Saudi Pro League.
Yes, and everyone to the Saudi Pro League, from your Kante to Cristiano Ronaldo, and so on and so forth, right? You are asked, as a Man United fan, you're like thinking like, okay, we got Mason Mount, great, but what's next? We need a goalkeeper, we need a striker, we need more stuff. It's going to be an interesting Premier League season.
I mean, coming back to you again, which you were saying on how we're still waiting on the takeover. So I know you really want the Qatar takeover to happen, right?
I know.
Because they have a buttload of money.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Sir Jim Ratcliffe person.
Yes.
I've talked to many Englishmen from UK.
Correct.
And Ratcliffe, as much as his amount is not as high as the Qatar side, I believe that he is a football person.
Indeed, he is.
I believe that just like Van der Sar for Ajax, I believe that Sir Jim Ratcliffe can. I feel he's more of the ideal person for it.
Sir Ratcliffe would be the ideal person, but my concern would his spending power be able to fight with clubs like Man City or Newcastle, who have these Saudi owners who are not really football people, but they are willing to throw the money to try to push their clubs forward.
I think he's willing to throw the money for the club. That's why I'm standing for him, because Qatar could just throw money. Just like Man City have, but then we'll just be like Man City. We're just throwing money into getting trophies. Seeing Sir Jim Ratcliffe is probably, if he throws money, we'll throw money on players that he'll sit down and like, hey, this player is genuinely good. He may not be Mbappe 200 million level, but if we get him in, we know we can cultivate him. He's gonna be that kind of diamond in the rough.
And he is a true blue Manchester United fan, which as fans, we will all be happy that if it's him, right? If we know that, hey, even we don't get the shake, we get Ratcliffe, it's still a win for us because you got a fan as your CEO. Speaking of Mbappe, a quick one before we end. Did you see the news on him?
I've not been following the fine side, but he's either getting a new deal or he's moving to Real Madrid.
Okay. Second possibility is much better, right? PSG has given him an ultimatum till the end of July to sign a new contract. If not, they will sell him, right? Because if they don't sell him, he will go for free to Real Madrid next season, right? And that's the problem with PSG right now. So that could be a problem if we have a Qatar owner. We might end up being a little bit like PSG, where we have so many quality players, but people don't want to stay. Is because of the culture, the diversiveness, and so on and so forth.
It's just for money.
Just for money. So we may never know, right? I'm just hoping that the new owner get announced soon, because we need to make our transfer moves as fast as we can. Many of the teams are already moving very, very quickly. The new season is upon us. We need, the preseason is starting soon, right? We need to start moving, right?
And with that, we're gonna end here. Yeah. So, last question: Mason Mount, success or no success?
Too early days, but I would say that he will do well for Man United, right? I think that he fits what we need, lah.
Not taking the 7 though. That's Garnacho's. Should have been Garnacho's.
Yeah, the number 7. But I feel that we bought him for a position that we need, and he fills the need that we have. So yes, I think that he will fit well in Manchester United, but he's not going to be the miracle worker that you are hoping for, lah.
Could be a Bruno Fernandes though.
Could be a Bruno or more of a Christian Eriksen. We may never know, but we have to see on the first games and the season. And on that note, we just must say thank you all for watching, right? So sorry about that, right? But we just must say thank you for watching. We try our best to make as much content as this. Sometimes, we talk about different topics and so on, and we just want to have fun creating this subject. So any last words from you, Darius, before we go?
I just hope thank you so much for the support that we've been able to do this. It's been fun to continue to do this. I would love to, of course, we're continuing to do this.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Right. Peace, guys.